Do you understand how stupid it is to buy U.S. government bonds? Remove the U.S. government title for now. An entity is offering a bond at 5% interest every year. That bond is saying to you, the purchaser, we will give you your money back plus 5% more each year. Sweet. You will pay $1,000 for a bond and receive $1,050 next year. But where does this extra $50 come from? Where does the 5% interest come from? When most entities offer a bond, they attract purchasers who believe in the entity's operation and profitability. You wouldn't want to buy a bond from Joe down the street who runs a corner store that loses $100,000 a year. The U.S. government lost $1,375,000 last year, $1.375 trillion. How is the U.S. able to reasonably offer government bonds when they lose that much money? Because they control the money. Imagine you had $500,000 in debt, but you had a money printer next to you. That debt would be nothing. You could rack up as much debt as you like. You have a money printer. $250 Lamborghini, print money, covered. $1.5 million house, print money, covered. There would be no more expenditures. Money wouldn't matter. You could spend as you please with no repercussions. This is the US government, and there are repercussions. Why is the world okay with an entity that has $34.6 trillion in debt? Why does the world pass that off as normal? Would the world be okay with a company that lost $1.35 trillion last year? Do you think the public would be confident in that company? Do you think that such a company should continue in its operation? Imagine buying a bond from a company with $34.6 trillion in debt. Let me say that again. Imagine buying a bond from a company with $34.6 trillion in debt. Would that be considered a prudent investment? But when the US government is the entity issuing the bond, it's the safest asset in the world. How does that make sense? Here's directly from the US government. Treasury securities are considered a safe and secure investment option because the full faith and credit of the US government guarantees that interest and principal payments will be paid on time. This is the reality. The full faith and credit are other words for the money printer. Money does not matter for the US government. They can always pay back the bonds. They have a money printer. How is this the best option the world has? Is it justifiable for any entity, government, corporation, or person to have a money printer? Is it justifiable for your neighbor to have a money printer while everybody else deals with it? Why is it justifiable for the US government to have a money printer while everybody else deals with it? If given the choice, would you rather live under a government that was profitable every year or under a government that lost $1.35 trillion last year? Which one would you actually be more confident in? Wake up. Nobody should have a money printer. Entities with $34.6 trillion in debt should not be able to survive. There has to be a better form of governance than this. There is a better form of governance than this. It starts with the separation of money and state. This means no government will control any money printer. This will force governments to seriously consider how to run a profitable, well-functioning operation. If they do not, they risk insolvency and collapse, the same situation any business or company faces. They can no longer print money to backstop their losses. This will reduce government size. All of the clutter and fluff propped up by the money printer will have no choice but to be removed. Governments will become service providers to citizens, as that will be the primary way of earning money. Any government that taxes their citizens without effectively providing services will watch their citizens leave for countries that do. This creates a direct incentive for governments to become quality service providers, because if they don't, citizens will be upset they are paying taxes to a poor functioning entity. The governments will understand that if they provide high-quality services, more citizens will be attracted to joining their jurisdiction, which will allow governments to possibly raise taxes, as citizens will be more willing to pay money to a government that provides them with effective services. This is basic economics. The higher quality product or service, the more demand, the higher the price. If quality drops off, demand wanes, prices lower. The new era of governments will be competing for people. They will no longer have a money printer to cover their losses, as it should be. Competition will mobilize the efforts of jurisdictions to improve their capacity to provide services economically and effectively. Once money is separated from state, market competition will be unleashed. Just like in the private sector, this competition leads to better products, better service, and more innovation. The world will be transformed from citizens of governments to customers of governments. The citizen construct implies that you exist to serve the government. The customer construct implies that governments exist to serve you. Understand that nobody should have a money printer. Understand that the separation of money and state will be one of the most pivotal moments in human history. Understand that the separator of money and state is Bitcoin. Bitcoin cannot be controlled by anybody. It takes money from centralized to decentralized. It takes the power of money out of the hands of the government and distributes it perfectly equally to each and every human. Equally in the sense that everybody has zero power over the money. Bitcoin is not some speculatory number-go-up investment. Bitcoin is the greatest tool humanity has at unlocking the infinite amount of prosperity awaiting us. Study Bitcoin so you understand why this is. You are not going to understand watching one video. Bitcoin takes time to understand, but it is unimaginably worth it.